Hey guys, it's Julian, and today I'm going to be making a full Future Garage track from start to finish. If you want to hear the finished product, you can skip to the timestamp at the top of the description now. I'll give you a moment to do that. And yeah, so before we get started, the project file and samples and MIDI and presets and all that kind of stuff that you just heard that we're going to create in this video are available in the description, so make sure to check for that. And if you're a patron on my Patreon, check there because it's all already available there. And yeah, let's get started. So, the first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with some drums. I'm going to get a kick. Let's use a smaller one first. I'm going to get a kick. Let's go to let's do 136 BPM for now. And I'm going to just put in like a little pattern. Let's just do like a two-step pattern for now. Also, I want to go on the record as saying that two-step is not a style of UK Garage or anything like that, but two-step is literally just a pattern, which is this. Just when you have the kick on the 1, and then you have it on the and of 3 or the and of 4, however you're counting that. But basically, that upbeat there. So it's like boom, boom. That is a two-step pattern. Two-step is not really a genre. It's just a style of beat that is used a lot. But yeah, so we'll start with that. I'm going to get one of these rim shots. Let's try this one. Let's do like this. Yeah, that's cool. And then the second time. Yeah, that's tight. And then we can kind of play around with it in the next one. That's cool. And then let's make this legato. Alright, sounds cool. So from there, we will add some hi-hats on top of that. I'm going to get a drum rack. And I have 4 hi-hats here. You know, with this style, I like to have a lot to play with. It's good to just have kind of a lot of sound. So I actually have 5 hi-hats here. We're going to pull those into this drum rack here and just make something. Yeah, right now we're just trying to get the groove going here. But let's try. Okay, cool. So you can see I'm just really taking my time here, just trying to get the groove perfect. Like, yeah, it's not really so much about the sounds that you use as like how you kind of play around with them. Like, honestly, a technique that I like to do a lot of times as well is just grab like 5 different hi-hats like this, like, and just put them in a drum rack, and then just start trying to build something on top of that, you know, or with that, I should say, but like kind of on the framework of those sounds, if that makes any sense. Like. But cool, sounds good. Let's put some more notes in here. And we'll do something like that. Alright, yeah, that's cool. We'll do that. Cool, and then I'm gonna duplicate this all over. We'll just get rid of that note. Alright, cool. We have a nice little hi-hat loop here. So, let's just put a bit of processing on that. I'm going to cut out some roaring on it, most importantly. Alright, sounds cool for now. I'm going to do some more mixing with this and kind of like processing these as well. I'm really just trying to get the groove going first. So the next thing I'm going to do here is we're going to make another drum rack. And I actually have some percussion sounds in here that I'm going to put into that. I also have a bunch of rim shots that we can use because we only use that one. Alright, that sounds cool. And then we'll put that one in there. Alright, that's nice. And yeah, so we're just going to use all this different percussion kind of to fill out the atmosphere of the drums more, if that makes any sense. That's cool. I like having that little. Oh, that's cool. I'm going to copy that as well. Alright, yeah. So, cool. So, again, it's kind of like I said with the hi-hats. It's not so much about, like, specifically what sounds you use. It's just about getting some sounds together and kind of getting creative. You can see, like, I didn't use all of these. You're welcome to use all of these. Like I said, you can get all these samples in the description in this project file and all that. But I just used a few of them, kind of put them in a drum rack, found what worked well together. And there we go. We have a cool little beat. Now, I'm going to fill this out a bit more. I have some vinyl noise here. Like this one. Actually, we'll use this one. Like this. As you may know. Very crucial for future garage. Kind of like the background, ambient, sort of like atmospheric sounds. Let's make this 8 bars as well. I'm going to drag that out and we'll duplicate. And we'll just drag these out as well. We'll duplicate them. But then what I'm also going to do is we have this field recording. I recorded this, I think, walking around a library. It was recorded on my phone, though. And yeah, you can hear this just has a lot of atmosphere to it. So we're going to just put it in here. We'll use the full length of it for now. I'm going to unwarp it, and then we'll just get rid of that for now. I'll just drag it out when we get to the other parts. But yeah, so these are going to add a lot of atmosphere. So here's without these two things. And then with them. You can hear they really fill it out. And again, just add that atmosphere on there. Alright, and I'm just bypassing these really quick. Cool, so I'm going to mix this a little bit. I'm going to turn everything down, actually. Alright, there's good. Cool, and then I'm going to put the hi-hats and the percussion into a group. And let's throw the rim shot in there as well. And I'm going to put some drum busts on this group. You know, you don't want to go super crazy with the style. Like, obviously, it's not like techno or house. You can get away with having a little bit softer drums. So you don't want to just try to make it, you know, spend as much time trying to make it as huge as, like I said, like a techno kick or something like that. But you still want your drums to be pretty fat sounding. So that's why I got that drum bus. And also the drum bus and any kind of processing like that. I talk about this a lot in my videos. So those of you who watch, a lot of them know. But it's like when you put things in a group like this and put the same processing on multiple sounds, it makes every sound just that much more cohesive and that much more together. And that really goes a long way with the style, because that's what the style is all about, is having sounds that, like I said, are just really cohesive and tight and sound kind of like they're all from the same world. Oh, that sounds cool. There's also on this rim shot, there's like that frequency. So I'm going to just cut that out. Cool, sounds good. So this is what you got to do with your samples, is just go through with the EQ like this. And yeah, like I was saying, like just sort of clean out those sort of messy frequencies. Let's do a little bit less of a cut there. Because there's always going to be something like that kind of on top of your samples. So it's good to, or with a lot of samples like this, it's good to know how to go in and clean that out. But cool. So that's pretty good. So I have another thing that I want to try to add here to get kind of some more organic percussion. Basically, with this style, I don't like to just, you know, have just one style of percussion, if that makes any sense. So once I get these percussions sounding good, I'll usually go in and add something a little bit more organic. And the way we're going to do this is using what you would call like Foley sounds. Basically, I have this subway recorder, which is being weird and not. But yeah, I just recorded that on my phone. You can hear there are those little like percussive things at the start. So I want to try and just bring this in and honestly just play around with it and see what we can do. Let's put it in that group. But again, it's like trying to have multiple layers to the percussion and not have it just be programmed percussion or just organic Foley percussion, but a nice blend of both. All right, so let's see what we can do here. I'm going to. That's cool. And again, like you get so much life from these kinds of sounds because it's not just like it's not just playing, it's like ringing out and it's doing all this extra stuff, and yeah, it really sounds cool. That's tight. Let's grab this again. Let's make it a bit more sparse. I think that is kind of the key. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so then we'll take that. We'll give it some fades as well. Nice, and I'm going to give this a little bit of echo as well. Nice. Alright, and then we'll copy that into this part. Yeah, let's do that. Again, it's just adding like something underneath there that isn't just like this very obviously sort of programmed percussion samples, you know? That's also why I wanted to leave a little space. Like I didn't want to do too much with the percussion because I wanted to have this in here, and I know like, yeah, you don't want it to be too much. Cool. I'm gonna also cut out a little bit of low end on that with an auto filter. And yeah, as you can see already, we're getting very far just by playing with, like I said, just different styles of percussion pretty much. I'm gonna listen to this on my monitors as well. Okay, cool. The monitors are good for being able to hear things. Like oftentimes, you know, if I'm making a track on headphones, I like to just check it on the monitors for a moment because there's certain things you can hear that you just can't really hear like on headphones. And vice versa as well. There are things you can't hear on monitors that you can hear on headphones. So it's good to always just be doing it on multiple things. But awesome. So I'm going to work with the kick now. That was something I just noticed. Let's get a drum bus here. On the kick. That sounds good. It just needs to be fattened up a little bit. Let's see if we can pick up. Okay, yeah, I mean this kick is very short, it's not gonna matter. Okay, sounding pretty good. So I'm gonna start adding some melodic stuff to this. I'm gonna start with the bass line. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get analog, and I'm gonna make like a fat respace, very burial style. Once analog glows. But yeah, so we're just gonna get kind of like a fat bass underneath this. You know, just playing some pretty dark stuff. It's gonna go really well with the style. Like the key here is just not to have a bass that's super in your face, which may seem obvious, but it's when you're actually like making the sounds a little bit less obvious than you would think. So what I mean by this is like if you listen to this. This is just like the saw waves D2. It sounds kind of cool, but it's very like in your face, like I said. So what we need to do is we need to get a low pass on here. I'm going to turn off the envelope. Oh, there we go. Let's give this a bit of detuning. You see, like, it kind of has more of like a deep feeling. Cool. Sounds pretty good. Let's put some saturation on that. That sounds good. You definitely want to fatten this up as much as possible. And then let's make a little pattern here. I have a few ideas. Let's put it through a bit of chorus going into the saturated. Yeah, that's nice. just diving in deep with the mixing there. I'll give you a little breakdown. Basically, the first thing that I did was I just put the kick and the bass in a group, and then I cut out a bit of this like low end at 114 hertz on the kick, or on the bass. Usually, the kick is hitting around 100 hertz. Like, that is really where the punch for a kick is, especially a kick like this. And so, what can happen sometimes is because, like, the bass is also kind of hitting in those ranges, you can have some clashing between the kick and the bass. So, I just cut that out. You can hear the difference. If I turn this off, and then turn it on, it's subtle, but you can hear the kick and the bass just fit together that much better. And then, yeah, after that, I just put those, like I said, they were in a group, so I put a bit of drum bus on the group. It just helps to sort of glue the kick and the bass together. Yeah, sounding pretty good so far. I'm going to go on these hi-hats and add a little bit of reverb. This is actually something I have noticed in Burial's music. His drums are pretty dry for the most part, besides like texturing stuff, but he's not usually using like a lot of delays or reverbs or anything like that. Or really a lot of like future garage producers are just keeping it pretty simple for the most part. But, apologize. But yeah, like adding a little bit of reverb on your hi-hats like this can really help to bring them to life. It just gives the track a little bit more atmosphere. And this is something I actually have noticed in Burial's music as well. And tons of other producers. Yeah, there we go. There's without it. And then with it. So, again, subtle, but it makes a nice difference. Alright, so that's pretty cool. So let's add some more melodic stuff. I'm going to make like a bit of a pad. Let's pull up operator here. And I'm probably going to just do something that follows with the bass. But yeah, the key with the melodic stuff in these kinds of tracks is I know it can seem a bit daunting to really get those like big atmospheres like you hear in a lot of these tracks, but it's just about kind of just diving in and like layering it up. Like if you kind of take it from the ground up and just take your time with it and get the right stuff in there, it'll come together. It's just if you just try to like jump in and just do it right away, it's not going to work so easily. So let's get operator here. I'm going to pull in the second oscillator. Turn up the fine tune a little. There we go. And then let's put a little bit of a low pass on that. Nice. And then I'm going to turn on this LFO here. And we're actually going to turn off these destinations here. I'm going to put it on the filter. Like that. And then on the oscillator volume B. So now you can hear we have pretty much the same sound. But now with movement. So it's a lot more alive. Cool. So from here, I'm going to give it some chorus. Yeah, let's do the fast chorus. And then we're also going to give it a ton of reverb. Awesome, sounds pretty cool. Okay, so what I'm playing right there is actually just C, C sharp, and F. It's pretty simple, but let's try and make something maybe a little bit more complicated than that for notes on this one. Also, one last thing that I think I'm going to put on there is a bit of drum bus. Yeah, even though it's a pad, you can hear that little bit of crunch on top of it really sounds nice, and it also just fattens it up, and let's also cut out the line. There we go. All right, let's make a little thing here. cool. So like I said, layer by layer here, you know, this is just kind of chilling there, adding some atmosphere on top of the beat. Okay, cool. And also just checking that on the monitors real quick. Alright, so let's make another little thing here. I'm gonna actually I have a choir sample. This is just one of my own samples. This will also be included with this project file and all that kind of stuff. Let's get one from, this is just from one of my tutorials, like I said, but like this, like kind of something a little bit more organic and real sounding. And I think that's gonna sound cool. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna make a bit of a thing with this one. Let's put some chorus on it. We use a ton of chorus. Let's put it through some reverb. And we're also gonna put it through, let's do a saturator. Fattens it up, and we'll also cut out some low end on that with an EQ8. Cool, and I think I'm gonna do a bit more reverb. Nice, and then let's also give this some attack on the synth. Like that much is good. Okay, cool. So now what we're gonna do is I'm going to make a little clip here. And it's gonna come in there. And then we're gonna go down like that. So that's following the bass line, because that's what the bass line does there. It goes down from that C sharp to the C. Sounds pretty cool. Alright, let's also throw in maybe the third. Okay, let's take that one. I'm gonna have it do two different ones. So basically, the first time, it'll just play that G sharp there, and then the second time it'll go G, and then G sharp. So, you know, just like really subtle things like that that are gonna make a big difference. You can hear that just adds something like, now again, we have kind of layers of ambient stuff, because we have this one just going the whole way through, giving us like a constant pad. And then this one's kind of coming in and doing some stuff and then coming out. So, yeah, kind of a nice way to lay it up there. Alright, I'm going to make another layer. This time, we are going to use analog. And I'm going to just make like a high note. I believe the right note will be F, since we're in F minor. Yep, that's it. Kind of on top of this, and then this can come in and out during the track, but this will just give us something more to work with. Let's turn off the envelope on the filter here. I'm going to turn up the amp envelope like this as well, and then we'll just turn down the frequency on the low pass. Let's use a band pass as well. Alright, there we go. Detune those two. Give it some vibrato. Nice. Just something kind of like ominous like this, I suppose. Cool, and then something I'm going to do with this, I did this on the other pad as well, is I'm going to turn on this LFO, and we're going to put that on the filter frequency. Just a little bit, not a whole lot. But you can hear now the sound is like moving. And we'll put it there. But yeah, so you can hear now the sound is moving, and it's not just like doing the same thing the whole time through. We'll put a little erosion on that as well. Alright, so that's pretty cool. So what I'm going to do now is I want some vocal chops. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this two times what it is now. So 16 bars. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use my own voice. So what I like to do a lot for vocal chops for Future Garage, and this is going to sound like something else. But basically what I'll do is just turn on like some auto-tune, or you can use G-Snap, any VST like that. And then what I'll do is I'll just record myself going like, making a bunch of sounds like that over the beat. And then what'll happen is if you put it through the auto-tune, or like I said, anything that does auto-tuning type effects, you can get some vocal chops that will be perfectly in key with your track. And it's kind of more about just doing stuff and seeing what comes out. I'll show you what I mean as I do this. But yeah, and this project file is still only going to be using Ableton stuff. You'll still be able to use it even if you don't have auto-tune. What I'm going to do is I'm going to record my voice into the auto-tune, and then I'm going to freeze it out. So you won't have to worry. You'll see though. But yeah, so what we're going to do, we have this track with my voice on it. As you can hear, I have a bit of latency, but that's okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put auto-tune on the track. There we go, and we're going to go to F minor. That's the key of this track. I'm just going to turn these amounts all the way up. We'll turn the speed up a little bit as well. And I am going to just make some noises. Let's hear this. Like I said, not the best, but that's okay, because when you hear it with auto-tune, it's going to be wonderful. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to freeze this. Like I said, you're not going to need to use auto-tune, or not going to need to have auto-tune to use this project file once I flatten this now. There we go. So now we have just an audio file with auto-tune singing. And like I said, you never know what's going to come out. But now we just kind of have like some cool sort of weird vocals like this. Let me put it on Complex Pro and try pitching it down an octave. Okay, so we'll do that with some of them. So now what we can do is we can actually listen to the rest of these. That one is great. So yeah, so you can hear it. Cool stuff comes out of this. And then what we can do is we'll just take this, we'll cut it, and I'll just paste it over here. And then we can just grab chops from it. So like, I'll grab this one first, and we'll just put them in different places. Like, let's put this one here, and then let's grab another one. We'll grab like this part. We don't have to take the whole thing either. Like, we can just take little pieces of it. Like that one, and give it a little fade. And we'll reverse it. Alright, and then let's just grab this one and see how that sounds over the next part. take this one in full and we won't reverse it. And then let me grab this one. Actually, let me use the last one. I haven't used that yet. Cool, so yeah, so you can see, like, I'm just placing these at random times. Like, these are in here quite a bit. I might make it less often as the track goes on. But you can see, even just from that short little 16-bar recording I took, and then I just froze it down, we already have a bunch of cool stuff. And I can just take this now and put it through some effects. Let's put it through some drum bus to make it a bit bigger sounding. And then I'm also going to put it through some reverb. And then something I'll also typically do is put this through a filter. Like we could just get an auto filter here at the start of the chain. And I'll just put it on a bandpass. And then if we do something like this. There you go, now it really sounds sampled. Put that one up an octave. Yeah, we'll put that part down an octave. You know, just like playing around with it. All of these are going to be in key. Yeah, that sounds cool. Okay, cool. So let's start arranging this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just move all of this stuff over to like here. And what I'm going to do to start off with is we're actually going to get the vinyl noise and the little field recording. And maybe this. Yeah, let's do that. First, what I'm going to do, though, is there's this other little vinyl sample in here. I'll show you. It is this one. Let's put that right at the start. You can hear that has like a little at the start. So we'll just put that in there once. That'll kind of like slowly fade out. But you can hear that starts it off nicely, you know. And then we can have this thing fading up. We'll just get a low pass on that. So that's just slowly coming in there. We will have this percussion start coming in like pretty quickly. Okay, cool. And then let's keep copying over these noises and stuff. And then I'm going to turn on the automation lock and copy over this analog thing, the drone. So basically the automation lock, it's pretty simple. All it is it's just you turn it on by clicking this little thing. When it's orange, it's on. When it's not on. But basically you can see if I turn it off when I copy this, it keeps the automation with it. If I do it with the automation lock on, there we go. No copying. So I'm going to have that just kind of like fading in and out there. Again, we want like constant movement throughout the track. Let's copy this stuff over here. Let's have the bass start without the kick. Yeah, then we can start using the vocal samples as well. I'm trying to use them very like sparse. happening too much. You want it to still have kind of like some mystery to it. But okay, so we got this part going next. Maybe we'll bring in this choir. Grab some vocals there. Okay, cool. So just making a little breakdown here. You know, we just got some of those vocal samples in there. Let's copy over the noise as well. I'll take this one from the beginning. I like to have some kind of like coming in and out. Like some of them are just playing throughout the whole track. But if you just have that, it doesn't feel as real as if you have ones like this where like, you know, sometimes it's just the main ones and then sometimes you have like this one. I think that's what Burial does a lot as well. Cool, and then we'll go into this part. Cool, and I'm gonna make this part a little bit more stripped back. Like maybe we'll take out the rim shot for part of it. Like it'll kind of. That's cool. Cool, and then I'm just taking pieces from the vocal chops over here. Again, trying to mix it up, using them in different ways. You can see as I'm going on here, I'm reversing some of them. I'm just chopping them in like different ways. Like, I'm trying to get creative. Sounds pretty cool. Let's take some of these and put them in the beginning as well. Like I could probably grab just a piece out of this and we'll put it like in this part. Give that some fades to get rid of those little clip edges. Perfect. Nice. I'm just wailing away there. But you can hear that sounds cool. Like that has like this cool kind of sampled feeling to it. And then let's get another one. I'll use one from over here. And we will put that there. And we'll put that down an octave. So you can hear also like with the vocals when I'm laying them down, I'm trying really hard not to just put them like right at, you know, bar one. Like when you put the vocals into these kinds of tracks, you want them to be very sparse and very organic feeling. No, they should never hit in exactly the same place twice. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. Just trying to, you know, constantly make it more and more interesting and have more and more new things happen with the vocals. Because they need to feel really human, even though there's just samples that you're chopping up and putting them on the grid. Let's see. I'm going to get rid of these two return tracks. We didn't use those, but I'm going to turn everything down a little bit at this stage. Yeah, we probably want to be hitting, or we do want to be hitting, between -4 and -6. So that is good. time to do some mastering. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a saturator on the master. We're going to turn the output down a little bit. I'm going to turn this drive up to, let's do +5. Here's without this. And then with it, you can hear it's really fattens the track up a bit. Again, without it. And then with it, like the saturation, it's the same reason why I put it on like the drum groups. It's because it really makes everything so much more cohesive and together sounding. What happens is it kind of fills in the spaces. If I get another saturator and just go really crazy with it, you can hear, like when I turn that all the way up, what's happening is this is literally just becoming this big distorted mess. And so but one thing about that is that you'll notice is that it's all like one thing. Like it all just comes to sound like this one big squashed together thing. And so this is what we're doing just on a much smaller scale with this saturator. And it's bringing everything closer together. Cool, so the next thing we're going to do here is I'm going to get a compressor and we're going to turn off the makeup gain and I'm going to just turn the threshold down. Okay, sounds pretty good. So here is without the compressor. And then with it. It's really subtle, but you can definitely hear the difference there. You can hear it's just making the overall mix a lot more powerful and again helping to kind of push it together a little bit more. And the key here with mastering compression is just don't go too crazy. I'm going to turn the ratio down a little bit. I'm going to turn the attack up a little so it's not messing with the drums. Subtle difference there, but it's really tying everything together. And the last thing I'm going to do on here is I'm going to get a limiter, and we are going to just turn the gain up until we're hitting 0 dB. Okay, there it's good. So yeah, all this is doing is just giving it a clean gain boost at the end of the chain. You could in theory do this with like a utility or something like that, but with a limiter, it just ensures that even though we wouldn't be clipping, it's just catching in case there's anything that's like a little bit about to clip, if that makes any sense. So yeah, at this stage, we have a pretty finished, nice sounding track. Let's hear the full track from start to finish. pretty good. So there it is. We've gone from a blank project file to a finished mastered track. So that's me for this one, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe, and let me know which track from scratch you want to see next week. Like I said at the beginning, you get this full project file and samples and MIDI and presets and all that kind of stuff that you've seen in this video in the description. And if you're a patron on my Patreon, check there because it's already available. Thank you so much, everyone, and I will see you tomorrow with another video.